Hagia Sophia, Turkish, Ayasofya, romanized, Hagia Sophia, Latin, Sancta Sapientia, lit. Holy Wisdom. Officially, the Hagia Sophia Grand Mosque is a mosque and former church serving as a major cultural and historical site in Istanbul, Turkey. The last of three church buildings to be successively erected on the site by the Eastern Roman Empire, it was completed in AD 537, becoming the world's largest interior space and among the first to employ a fully pendentive dome. It is considered the epitome of Byzantine architecture and is said to have changed the history of architecture. The site was an Eastern Rite church from AD 360 to 1453, except for a brief time as a Latin Catholic church between the Fourth Crusade in 1204 and 1261. After the fall of Constantinople in 1453, it served as a mosque until 1935, when it became an interfaith museum, until being controversially reclassified solely as a mosque in 2020. The current structure was built by the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I as the Christian Cathedral of Constantinople for the Byzantine Empire between 532 and 537, and was designed by the Greek geometers Isidore of Miletus and Anthemius of Tralles. It was formerly called the Church of God's Holy Wisdom, romanized, Neos tes Hagias Sophias, the third church of the same name to occupy the site, as the prior one had been destroyed in the Nika riots. As the episcopal see of the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, it remained the world's largest cathedral for nearly 1,000 years, until the Seville Cathedral was completed in 1520. Hagia Sophia became the paradigmatic Orthodox church form, and its architectural style was emulated by Ottoman mosques 1,000 years later. The Hagia Sophia served as an architectural inspiration for many other religious buildings, including the Hagia Sophia in Thessaloniki, Panargia Ekatontopouliani, the Seyzade Mosque, the Suleimani Mosque, the Rustam Pasha Mosque, and the K.L. Ali Pasha Complex. In July 2020, the Council of State annulled the 1934 decision to establish the museum, and the Hagia Sophia was reclassified as a mosque. The 1934 decree was ruled to be unlawful under both Ottoman and Turkish law, as Hagia Sophia's Waqf, endowed by Sultan Mahmud, had designated the site a mosque. Proponents of the decision argued the Hagia Sophia was the personal property of the Sultan. The decision to designate Hagia Sophia as a mosque was highly controversial. It resulted in divided opinions and drew condemnation from the Turkish opposition, UNESCO, the World Council of Churches, and the International Association of Byzantine Studies, as well as numerous international leaders, while several Muslim leaders in Turkey and other countries welcomed its conversion into a mosque. History. Church of Constantius II. The first church on the site was known as the Magna Ecclesia, Mega Ecclesia, Great Church, because of its size compared to the sizes of the contemporary churches in the city. According to the Chronicon Pascali, the church was consecrated on the 15th of February 360, during the reign of the Emperor Constantius II, r. 337 to 361, by the Arian bishop Eudoxius of Anch. It was built next to the area where the Great Palace was being developed. According to the 5th century ecclesiastical historian Socrates of Constantinople, the Emperor Constantius had c. 346 constructed the Great Church alongside that called Arian, which, because it was too small, the Emperor's father Constantine had enlarged and beautified. A tradition which is not older than the 7th or 8th century reports that the edifice was built by Constantius' father, Constantine the Great, r. 306 to 337. Church of Theodosius II. A second church on the site was ordered by Theodosius II, r. 402 to 450, who inaugurated it on the 10th of October 415. The Notitia Urbis Constantinopolitani, a 5th century list of monuments, names Hagia Sophia as Magna Ecclesia, Great Church, while the former Cathedral Hagia Irene is referred to as Ecclesia Antiqua, Old Church. At the time of Socrates of Constantinople around 440, both churches were enclosed by a single wall and served by the same clergy. Thus, the complex would have encompassed a large area, including the future site of the Hospital of Samson. If the fire of 404 destroyed only the 4th century main basilica church, then the 5th century Theodosian basilica could have been built surrounded by a complex constructed primarily during the 4th century. Church of Justinian I. Current structure. On the 23rd of February 532, only a few weeks after the destruction of the second basilica, Emperor Justinian I inaugurated the construction of a third and entirely different basilica, larger and more majestic than its predecessors. Justinian appointed 2 architects, mathematician Anthemius of Tralles and geometer and engineer Isidore of Miletus, to design the building. Mosque, 1453 to 1935. Constantinople fell to the attacking Ottoman forces on the 29th of May 1453. Sultan Mehmed II entered the city and performed the Friday prayer and Khutbah sermon in Hagia Sophia, and this action marked the official conversion of Hagia Sophia into a mosque. The church's priests and religious personnel continued to perform Christian rites, prayers, and ceremonies until they were compelled to stop by the invaders. When Mehmed and his entourage entered the church, he ordered that it be converted into a mosque immediately. One of their ulama, Islamic scholars, present climbed onto the church's ambo and recited the Shahada, "There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger," thus marking the beginning of the conversion of the church into a mosque. Mehmed is reported to have taken a sword to a soldier who tried to pry up one of the paving slabs of the Pro-Canesian marble floor. Renovation of 1847 to 1849. The 19th century restoration of the Hagia Sophia was ordered by Sultan Abdulmajid I, r. 1823 to 1861, and completed between 1847 and 1849 by 800 workers under the supervision of the Swiss-Italian architect brothers Gaspar and Giuseppe Fossati. The brothers consolidated the dome with a restraining iron chain and strengthened the vaults, straightened the columns, and revised the decoration of the exterior and the interior of the building. The mosaics in the upper gallery were exposed and cleaned, although many were recovered for protection against further damage. Occupation of Istanbul, 1918 to 1923. In the aftermath of the defeat of the Ottoman Empire in World War I, Constantinople was occupied by British, French, Italian, and Greek forces. On the 19th of January 1919, the Greek Orthodox Christian military priest Eleftherios Noufarkis performed an unauthorized divine liturgy in the Hagia Sophia, the only such instance since the 1453 fall of Constantinople. The anti-occupation Sultanate demonstrations were held next to Hagia Sophia from March to May 1919. In Greece, the 500 drachma banknotes issued in 1923 featured Hagia Sophia. Architecture. Hagia Sophia is one of the greatest surviving examples of Byzantine architecture. Its interior is decorated with mosaics, marble pillars, and coverings of great artistic value. Justinian had overseen the completion of the greatest cathedral ever built up to that time, and it was to remain the largest cathedral for 1,000 years until the completion of the cathedral in Seville in Spain. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like this video to support our channel.
Продаю, да, просто не тоже отдают, они платят заказ, что это заказ.
крестище получается. Или иксус. Нарисоваться?
Okay, right there. That's why they have the upstairs. Really looks like just for the
Yavaş.